Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Juggernaut Fitness TV here. Today I want to talk to you guys about excuses and owning your own results. And I want to state up front that it is 100% your own responsibility to get the results that you want. It is 100% the choices you make and the effort that you're willing to put into it that will determine your results. And if you want to blame your genetics, then my question would be, why haven't you hit your genetic limit yet? I've seen people with pretty bad genetics get to 600-pound deadlifts. Now, that being said, the number of excuses I get from people in private messages and comments and everything else, the people who send me messages who need help with things, I have never in my life seen so many people who are 18, 19, 20 years old who claim to have bad knees, bad backs, some sort of metabolic syndrome to where they can't lose body fat or metabolism so high that they can't gain weight no matter what they eat. And this is going to sound a little harsh, but it's time for a lot of the young people who watch these videos on YouTube who are now preparing to go into the real world to get a little dose of reality. In life, nobody gives a fuck about your excuses. They don't want to hear them. At your job, your boss doesn't want to hear your excuses. Your customers don't want to hear your excuses. There are no participation trophies in life. That's probably the worst idea they ever came up with in schools and sports, is this idea of participation trophies. Because you are not owed anything in life. The only thing you are owed in this life is being born and to die. Anything else that you want, you're either going to get through luck or you're going to have to work for it. Now, the reason a lot of you have bad knees and your knees hurt when you squat is because you don't work on your mobility and you don't know how to squat correctly. You haven't bothered to take the time to learn how to squat correctly or read some books on it. Because you don't train your hamstrings enough, you have weak hamstrings, probably because you don't deadlift often enough or heavy enough, and because you probably do leg extensions on top of it, which are the #1 knee destroyer of any exercise ever invented. So that's your reason for that. The reason your shoulders hurt when you bench press is because you don't train your rear delts enough, you probably don't strengthen your rotator cuffs, and you don't know how to fucking bench press. The reason you struggle to lose fat is not your metabolism, because if you had a thyroid issue, you would have already gone to the doctor and got a $10 a month prescription to sort it out. That's a bullshit excuse. You're struggling to lose fat because you're not willing to eat the foods that are satiating enough to you personally, or go do some basic research on satiation factors and realize that things like fiber play the largest role. You're not filling up on foods that will help you keep your calories down, and you're probably not accurately tracking your calories enough. That's why you're struggling to lose fat. It's not your metabolism. And it's the same for the people who are struggling to gain weight when they're on a bulk, who claim to be training hard and eating a ton of food. It's because you're not consistently eating enough calories. You're probably trying to bulk on chicken, brown rice, and broccoli because you're scared of getting fat, instead of just biting the bullet and forcing yourself to eat calories and even foods that you would consider junk food. And junk food generally just means they're calorically dense. There's a lot of calories in them, and if you're struggling to get enough calories, that's your problem. You need to eat some of that junk food every now and then, and you need to be consistently forcing yourself to eat your surplus. It is your own fault. And even people with legitimate medical conditions, there are people who have conditions out there that will prevent them from reaching their goals, but sometimes those are just excuses. I myself carry a legal disability status according to the US government of 100% disabled. I'm not supposed to be walking without a cane. I'm not supposed to be standing without a cane. I'm not supposed to be training as heavy as I do, and you guys see what I do. I am medically forbidden from doing some of the things that I do. I've also seen an Iraqi veteran who had his entire lower leg blown off. He has no leg below the knee on the right side, and I watched him crank out in a gym 3 reps with 500 pounds on the deadlift. And I also saw him squat 400 pounds for a single, missing half of his leg. And so I can imagine what that man probably thinks of some of your excuses. There are no excuses. You own your results. If you want them bad enough, you will find a way to make it happen. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go. And I'll give you guys a side chest also.